What's going on, people? It's the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm up trying to do my usual morning routine. Got the radio on, listening to NPR's On Point with Tom Ashcroft, or is it Ashbrook? I forget his name because he annoys me. I really don't like the stance that he comes from, which he makes too many assumptions that he's representing something that doesn't exist, and it offends me. I just feel like talking, and so who knows what's going to happen, okay? I think the one thing I wanted, the thing that's on my mind is how obvious the immediate results of this disastrous election that we had is, the chilling effect that it's had on the psychic health of the country, much less the planet. I can definitely speak for my city. The president-elect has opened or allowed some of the worst tendencies of human behavior to rise back to the surface. Scapegoating others because of their race, blaming others, dividing people, continuing to promote the status quo, which means that in order for the status quo to profit, many millions will have to continue to suffer and more. This is not okay, and yet this is the world we're living in. I just wanted to say, it's part of a therapeutic action on my part to just deal with the fact that this is where we're at, and this is the time of the planet that I happen to be living in. Philosophers, scientists, people who study and know things and look at information throughout the eons of this planet all agree in one way or another about the larger, how do I put it, the eras of the planet, how things go in large cycles. We measure things by seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, etc. But then you get into eras and eons and ages, and I do watch programs here on the internet because I don't have television. And if you watch my feed or you follow me, some people do, you see what I'm watching. And it is common knowledge to those that study that we are currently in a dark age. You could call it the age of decadence. If you look at planetary precession and talk about the golden age, the silver age, the iron age, the bronze age, whichever one is at the tail end, that's where we're at. Everything happening on this planet, especially what's going on now with the reemergence of racism, hate, division, these are very clear signs that we're in this an age of decadence. Certainly not an age of enlightenment and intelligence. We're obsessed with everything that's pulling us apart. I heard it explained really well about empires, how on average empires last 250 years, and one of the ways that they fall apart at the end is how you start with conquest and building, and then you end with the relatives or the generational beneficiaries of the work done just squandering it and fighting over the scraps because they inherited it and means nothing to them, and they don't care. I'm being general, but there's just a whole lot about that description of how empires go that matches what we're living through now. Knowing that helps me to not completely lose it, because when I go out in public and do things, it's everywhere. It has literally changed the atmosphere in this country to a very unhealthy kind of stiffness. And this is not good, people. Whatever you want to say about, well, we got to give Trump a chance. Well, of course we do, but look at what kind of person we're giving a chance to. Look at what kind of person it takes to be powerful and to get in that position. A monster, or a selfish, self-centered, power-obsessed individual who will do and say whatever it takes to get what he wants. And this is what we have. And I listen to the news, and I watch, and I talk to people, and I'm listening to how people are trying to hum and hedge and find a way to excuse this and that, and oh, it's not as bad as you think. And it's just unfortunate, because it's bullshit. Things are really, really in a bad way now. They are. The atmosphere is bad. So we need people to, we need decent people to stop being silent. We need to speak out when our friends and family members and associates say and do things that are anti-human. We need to speak out against racism. We need to stand up to ignorance. We need to stand up and speak out against silent white privilege. We must speak louder to our brothers and sisters who, through ignorance, kill one another, regardless of the skin color, okay? Because a lot of that has to do with the institutional racism that some people don't understand is real and is perpetrated upon people with dark skin. Look up the definition of racism and you'll understand that's what we're dealing with. This White Lives Matter, that is completely missing the point. That's not necessary. The white race has had this unspoken privilege going on for decades, and not decades, centuries. Probably isn't going to change in my lifetime, but it needs to. It needs to be addressed. It's real. It's not right. White people are not superior. If anything, all this racist, hateful stuff going on behind Trump and his alt-right shit shows you how inferior such thinking and behavior is. You have to be delusional, or I'm going to say you're delusional and full of crap to tell yourself that somehow it's okay to be hateful to another race just because they don't look like you. How ignorant, how foolish, how unintelligent. And it's risen back to the surface. Good Lord, good Lord. And once again, when I try to talk about this to my friends who are on that side, they can't speak with any sense because there is none. It's like there's some kind of sickness enveloping the country where people no longer can discern or think straight or gather themselves to see clearly better. I say that if these people could see clearly, more clearly and more intelligently, they could recognize how their short-sighted, self-centered positions on power race and everything else hurts everyone. They're not going to be able to get on some kind of boat and sail to a remote sea where they're untouched by all of this madness which they've helped to loose. This whole idea of trying to hurry up and get to Mars, you know, the idea that we're going to leave the planet and get away from this, that's... Even if they do it, it's not going to work. A compassionate, open-minded, open-hearted individual, in my opinion, is going to come down more on the side of doing things that will be beneficial to the greater number, as opposed to just me, and my side, and my color, and my little group. I really don't know how you can dispute that logic. The greater good. And our supposed leaders lost that plot a long time ago. All out for self. They're all out for selfish gain. All the hidden hand of power. Trump's not even Obama. The president's not even the one in charge. Isn't that obvious? As I've said all along, I never was a big Obama supporter. Has Obama really been able to do anything for his race, the black people? Really? No, because he's not in charge. The hidden hand of power cares not for the common man, and have shown over and over again that they're quite willing to kill and spill blood for their gain. This is the way it's been. This is the way it's going. I just wanted to speak about it. It's not going to change anything, but I wanted to say something, okay? Records, maybe next time.